Some of the best moments on the water don't end when you pull up to the dock, they're just getting started. I'm Brian Greenwood, and with my brother, Chef Eric Greenwood, we're bringing you Tide to Table. From the day's catch to the grill, it's all about sharing meals, stories, and time together, the way boating was meant to be. This is Tide to Table from Sportsman Boats. Welcome to another episode of Tide to Table. Once again, we're here with Chef Eric Greenwood. What do you got there?
I got a couple oysters today. I went out oystering with Jim yesterday while you were slaving away in the office.
Yep.
We got some cluster oysters. We stopped by a local market and got some single oysters, and I thought we'd do a couple different presentations of oysters.
Love it.
Awesome. So the first one we're going to do is a grilled oyster, a grilled stuffed oyster. So we have these awesome blade cluster oysters that we grabbed.
Yep.
I cleaned them up, sprayed them off real good, kind of really difficultly, but I separated individual oysters because they're really big and juicy, and I think they work really well with this application. We're going to throw a little bit of red bell pepper, a little bit of bacon bits, and then we're going to top it with some of that leftover crab cake batter that we had the other day.
Awesome.
We're going to put that on our Blackstone. I have a little aluminum foil set up here because I want to make sure that all the liquor of the oyster doesn't dribble out. So we're going to just use this aluminum foil to contour the bottom and make it nice and balanced. We'll put a dome on it, let it bake away for a few minutes.
Sounds
and we're
good.
going to do an oyster shooter, and we're going to open some raw oysters and do a little raspberry mignonette.
Love it.
Awesome.
What temperature you got the grill on?
I have it on low right now while we're getting ready.
Okay.
Once we get the oysters stuffed and placed in there, I might crank it up to about medium or so.
Okay.
We don't want to cook the oysters too much. We just want to kind of heat them through for the most part.
Yeah. Raw oyster is phenomenal. So.
Yep. The longer you cook the oyster, the more of that liquor, that inside water
Dry
that's
out.
inside the shell, it evaporates, and then you just have a dry, kind of leathery oyster.
Don't
So
need
we're
that.
gonna pay attention to that. So we're gonna start with some red bell pepper, just a couple little pieces. This is more for texture, a little bit of flavor, so a little goes a long way.
You don't want that to be the overpowering.
No, and the crab cake batter, if you remember, we have some red onion in there and some celery as well, so there's already some crunch.
Yep.
This has just a little bit of color, a little extra, a little flavor. Just a couple little drops. Looks good to me. We're gonna add some bacon because bacon is delicious.
There's not many dishes that bacon does not help out.
This is true. This is true. If you add bacon to anything, if anything, it increases its value. It never decreases its value. I think the only thing that bacon could do better is when you make it yourself. Just like when we went oystering, it tastes better when you actually do the hard labor to make it happen. When you make bacon from home.
I love making homemade bacon. One of my favorite things to do with my Traeger.
So we got peppers and bacon in there. We're just going to do about a spoonful of crab meat. We're just going to kind of pack it down. I'm not going to pack it too tight because if you push down, the liquor's going to come out. So we're just going to kind of get it set there. We'll move it onto the Blackstone.
Cool.
And I did add a little bit of panko to this after we were done making crab cakes the other day.
Bind it a little bit.
Help it bind, and we usually when I do a grilled stuffed oyster, I add breadcrumbs, and then I can throw it in the broiler and really toast them up. We don't have that capacity here with the Blackstone.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to get a little bit of toast with the lid, but just adding the breadcrumbs soaked up a little bit of that excess liquid, and it'll give it just a little bready texture.
Awesome.
I think we're ready to go.
Now these would work with any type of oyster.
Any type of oyster.
I know we're using cluster oysters, blade oysters from down here, you guys, but up north they're a little bit different, but you would still use the same oysters, obviously.
Yeah, up north in the North Atlantic, they're a much smaller oyster, but they still pack a ton of salty brine, which goes really well with like the fatty bacon and even that sweet decadent crab meat. Cool. Pacific Northwest is similar. They all vary in size. We're just using blade oysters because that's what's local.
That's local. Always embrace the local stuff. Better than ordering something from far away.
All right, so we're gonna get these kind of situated on this aluminum foil under the lid, and once that starts cooking, we're gonna move over. We're gonna pop some fresh single oysters.
Okay.
And we're gonna just do that with a quick raspberry mignonette.
Awesome.
All right, these are stuffed.
Okay.
You wanna lift that lid for me? Thank you. You are such a good helper. All right, so now this is the kind of part if the aluminum foil is loose enough, you can kind of just press them in and they're gonna hold
Make like a little nest for them.
Yep. Make a custom little nest for them. We're just gonna stuff them in.
Aluminum foil's hot.
Well, be careful. This is why I try to let you not help me as much as possible.
There's a way to get injured. You're going to do it to me.
And we'll fold that out. It's not hot. You've got little baby fingers. All right, these are all set.
At least I have all my fingers.
You had to go there. You had to go there. All right, we're going to turn this heat up to about medium or so. We'll get this pan out of the way.
Let them do their thing. What are we doing in the meantime?
We're going to open some oysters, some single oysters. We're going to do them on the half shell with a raspberry mignonette.
Awesome.
So mignonette is a pretty classic oyster garnish. It's usually just black pepper.
Sounds very fancy.
It's a lot, it sounds fancier than it is.
Okay.
It's red wine vinegar, cracked black pepper, shallot.
Okay.
I just took some fresh raspberries and buzzed it all up.
Pureed them all up.
Yep. So that's what this is. This is fresh raspberries.
Half cup or so of raspberries.
About a half cup or so of raspberries, couple good cranks of black pepper, about half a shallot chopped up,
okay.
And then maybe about a quarter cup of vinegar.
Yep.
Those all vary depending on whether you want more vinegar, more sweet,
adjust
or whatever.
the taste as you go.
And then I use an immersion blender. You can throw that in a food processor and just pulse it until it gets to a puree like this.
Okay.
So with most oysters, you'll have a single, like more of a flat top shell and a cupped bottom shell. You want to open them with the cup on the bottom.
That's going to be your vessel.
That's going to hold all that liquor in there. If you were to open it this way, it's a little bit difficult, but once you pop that hinge, all the liquor's going to fall out on it. So you want to use that natural boat to its advantage.
Okay.
I recommend using a towel because this that we're using, even though it kind of looks like a prison shank, I mean, it is. It's very sharp. More than one person has taken it, slipped through the oyster, and gone right into the meat of your hand. I don't recommend doing that.
I've done that.
Yeah, I have too, not to the extent of most people. So we can kind of fold up the towel, get that hinge. So we've got the big shovel part of the oyster, and then this hinge back here.
Yep.
It's where it all points. So when the
hinge is where you're breaking it loose.
Yep. So when the tide is high, this is where the oyster is going to open this way and filter all that water, which gives it all its flavor. So we need to go in here with our knife right into this point, ever so slightly, and then turn it like a screwdriver. And that should pop, and then we'll slide our blade up, open up that, and then we'll pop that shell off.
Cool.
So we got ourselves a nice little towel nest. I like to try to fluff the towel up and elevate that hinge a little bit, so I'm kind of going
more
down.
access to it.
Because if it was like this, you're going right up into your hand. So I want to almost force myself down, so if I slip, I'm going into the table, into the towel or into the table, away from your digits.
Away from the flesh.
Yep. So we're gonna go in here. You're gonna put a little bit of pressure, and you're gonna feel the oyster, it's stuck right there.
Yep.
It's not open yet, but you're just entering that little
You got in there where you've got some leverage now.
So now I know that when you get it back in, you can just twist this, and that shell's gonna open. Now you can hold it in your hand to keep it as level as possible. They're not super sharp on the edge, but they are enough to release that top shell. So we're gonna go in and just follow the contour of the shell. It might break in half right where that foot is, and that's okay, you can discard that. And then go right through and release it. Throw that shell out. Clean off your knife. I like to go underneath the oyster, and there's an abductor muscle on the top and the bottom. That's what's opening that shell. So we need to release the actual oyster body from it. So you just glide your knife around, scrape it off the shell. In restaurants, we like to flip the oyster over so the consumer knows it has been completely released, because you don't want to look like a fool trying to take this and slurp it, and then you're using your finger to stuff it down your throat. You want it to just slide right in.
Slide right off.
Yep. So we're doing that.
It's amazing when you go to like an oyster house, you see these guys that do this all day long and how quick they can just, once you get in the rhythm, and I guess everybody could do that, and practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect.
Eat a lot of oysters and you're going to get there.
Start slow, start with a towel. You go to some of these oyster houses and they're just cranking them. I've worked in those places. Like I said, I've stabbed myself. I can do it now without a towel, but I highly recommend starting slow, just like with everything. Use a towel, use protection, get in there, just pop it.
Practice makes perfect. You get to eat a bunch of oysters while you're learning.
Generally, oysters are served on a bed of crushed ice. Where outside, that ice is going to melt almost immediately. Another good trick is just use kosher salt.
Okay.
Super cheap. You can buy 3-pound boxes of it for $1. We're just going to dump that right onto the cutting board. And just like the aluminum foil, it's going to allow us to contour the salt to keep that oyster nice and level.
Okay.
So none of that juice is going to get missed while we're cutting the rest of them.
So you just kind of bed it in there again.
Yep. So you just make a mound, and then you just make a bed like that. Now you can go hands-free, open your other one. That liquor's staying right where it needs to be. So you can pop all your oysters.
Keep it chilled, because the best thing about an oyster is that briny taste and that coldness in my mind. You
and
want it to be ice cold.
The salt will help insulate it a little bit to keep that coldness. It's going to keep it level, so you can pop all your oysters and then go back with whatever garnish you're going to do, whether it's horseradish, lemon, lime, Tabasco or cocktail sauce. We're using a mignonette, so we're going to open a couple more.
Okay.
And then we'll go back through pour it off. We'll check on our baked oysters, make sure they're not getting too cooked. If they're still good, we'll let them roll. If not, we'll pull them off, and then we'll finish with a little cocktail.
Love it.
All right, let's get this last oyster popped up. I want to check on those baked oysters next to you, Brian, 'cause I got a feeling they're getting pretty close.
They look good.
Don't. Did you just lift the lid?
That was quality control?
All right, those oysters are nestled, ready for the mignonette. No puncture wounds to the hands. All right, thank you. Let's check these. Oh, they look perfect.
You can see that crab is cooked up a little bit.
We're gonna turn the Blackstone off.
Nice and warm.
Let's move these over onto the cutting board as well. All right. We'll get these off, let them cool down a little bit, because knowing you, you're gonna wanna put that right into your mouth, and you will have no more taste buds.
Done with this?
Done with that, yeah. Look at that, we didn't even dirty up the Blackstone. All right, last thing we're doing, oyster shooters. So we've got tequila, we've got lime, we've got cilantro.
Okay.
We've got oysters.
Yep.
So we're gonna pop 3 more oysters. We'll start with that. Oyster shooters are not a high liquor, like alcohol shot.
For the flavor.
It's for the flavor. It's for people who don't necessarily like the idea of a raw oyster, but they can handle it with other ingredients in there.
Yep.
So if we were to start with tequila and fill it up all halfway or all the way, there's a chance we might overflow it. So we're gonna fill the shot glass with all these other ingredients.
First?
Yep, and then we're gonna just kind of top it with tequila, so you're not gonna get drunk off a tequila shooter.
Oh, way to ruin the fun, Eric.
You can make a whole oyster cocktail if you want, but for today, we're doing oyster shooters.
Now, when you're shucking these, obviously you're going to take the oyster out of there. These shells are becoming more and more important in all these, coastal areas where they're doing a lot of, oyster restoration. They use them for erosion. So, around here, I think they actually have recycling programs for these oysters. And, they recommend anybody that's doing an oyster roast to donate those, and they get used and just help the local population, the local waters. They're a great filter for the water.
Yep, they are. And yeah, I'm just dropping them on the ground, but we will pick these all up when we're done, and we'll recycle them.
Oh, and it does back. Yep. I love it. I mean, if you look up the stats of how much these things can filter in a day, it's amazing.
Oh, it's unbelievable. All right, we're gonna pop this last oyster.
Now, your daughter is gonna be very jealous.
Yeah, Zoe, if you're watching this, these oysters taste horrible. You're not missing anything.
Uncle B will tell you the truth, you're missing out. She loves her oysters.
All right. So as you can see, these 3 oysters have 3 different levels of water or liquor.
Which is why you didn't put the tequila in first.
Correct. Yep. So we can actually adjust that a little bit by taking a little bit of liquor from the other ones and
now
making them
a little bit. You keep calling it liquor. Is that what the juice is in the?
Yes.
Okay.
So the liquor is the salt water that's mixed with the natural oyster juices.
Okay.
So they actually do call it liquor.
Gotcha.
Doesn't have any alcohol in it.
You've been mispronouncing it all day.
No, I don't make mistakes.
You see
like
the bottle
that.
of tequila, and your mind was on that.
Yep. So then we're gonna add a little bit of cilantro.
Make it healthy.
Yep. That way when, your mom or your wife or your sister says, I can't believe you're drinking tequila this early in the morning. Well, there's green in it. It's got to be healthy and good for you. That's right. It's a vegetable. And we're also using green lime, so there's a lot of green in it.
There you go.
And then I'm using about 1/4 of a lime per shot. All right, we're going to get lime in this last one. Top it off with some tequila blanco. Like I said, we're probably doing 1/2 ounce maybe. And I just realized that you distracted me and we didn't put the mignonette on the raw oysters. So luckily we have our little salt bed here. We didn't lose anything. We're gonna add a little bit of mignonette to each of these.
Man, what a flavor profile that's going to be.
Yeah. And that's it.
Good deal.
So now we've got oysters 3 ways. What do you say we do a shot and finish this up?
Don't ask me twice.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers, little brother. Oh, that was good. I'll do another.
Yeah.
Good deal.
We'll do another one of those as well.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Tide to Table. Appreciate you all watching. Please subscribe. See you in the next one.
Thank you.